But do you feel like Ethan's hand? That's the question, Cyril. 15 hours, my dude. That was a long-ass stream. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Hello. Sundays. Sundays are usually my PJ day. Today is the PJ day. You can tell because I'm wearing the I Heart Whole shirt. Oh, hey. Oh, hey, I Heart Whole shirt. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, no, it was a very long stream, but it was so much fun, and I'm glad that you had so much fun. And nope, not like the band. Can we submit the stream to speedrun.com? Do it. Do it. It's gonna be great. No, so background on the t-shirt, it's I mean, I'm sure it's meant for the band, but there's this anime called Dorohedoro that's very, very good. And the town that they all live in is called Hole, and at one point there was some scene where they passed by some, like, you know, souvenir stand or whatever, and there was a t-shirt that said I Heart Hole. And so my friend Jody bought us matching I Heart Hole shirts. Dorohedoro is very good. It's a good anime. Okay? It's got my big beefy wife in it, and that's all that matters. Good show, would recommend. Anyway, hi, we're here. I'm tired. I'm very tired, but just happy to exist. Her name is Noe. She's great. Here, actually, let's just do this. All right, hang on a second. Let's just hop on over here. Hey, Google. Oh God, this is gonna be gigantic, isn't it? Not as bad as I was expecting. All right. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, I had to reformat everything. Excuse me. I'm gonna show big beefy waifu. It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it. Hold on. I've done this very bad, and so you just gotta wait a second. Oh my God, I'm clicking everything that I'm not supposed to. You know what? I don't give a shit. It's gonna be formatted poorly. I don't care. She's very good. I love her. This is big beefy wife. She's very good. She's very good. I love her. She's great. She's very good. Right? Noe is fantastic. Anyway, y'all should watch some Dorohedoro. Oh, there's definitely some Rule 34 in there. That's the internet's fault. That's not the anime's fault. I promise. No apologies. Everything is fine. Cause kind of same. I think I said hello to everyone in my server this morning, and then that was it. It was great. Hi! Oh shit, they did! Why? Oh my God. They did. They were like, we're done? Hey, we're done, actually. Oh my God. Move. Oh no! Please. Please. I need all of you to shift over. This is my morning. This is the morning now. Oh, is it because I moved them? It's because they got moved over here. Okay, that explains a lot. Ugh, whatever. Who fucking cares? Let's get some GrimGrimoire going. Hi. Welcome to the morning stream. I don't know what's going on anymore. I mentioned I'm very tired. Hi, Devo. Are you gonna start screaming? Yeah. Okay. Good to know. What were we doing last time in this fucking game? Stuff. Things. Oh, right. We were stuck on that bad level. We were stuck on the bad level with the bad enemies. that I couldn't get through because they kept wrecking my shit. And it wasn't great, and I didn't appreciate it. Don't want to do the bonus levels. Maybe later. Maybe we'll do bonus levels later. We're gonna try it once on normal, and if I still can't get it, then we'll just drop the difficulty down. That's all I got for you.
There you are. I was looking for you.
Oh, my sweet baby.
It was too late.
Are we gonna do this awkward scene again? Oh, perfect.
I'm Lilith Blonde.
Speaking of my other wives. Oh.
Miss Opalnaria told me to wait here.
That dialogue, it's fine. Words are hard right now. Good
oh, no.
God.
It's no good. It'll be too late then. Please trust me.
It's a catto? It's a very, very good cat.
Trust? But we've only just met.
You may not know me.
Amaretta is bae.
Miss Opalnaria may be here any minute.
And Lilith is super gay.
Please, I'll give you anything you want. If you're caught, you'll be in danger.
And you believe you have what I want?
She's great. I love her. They're so good.
Oh, I know I do. And I'll give you as much as you want.
Oh!
It's love, right?
Oh!
Who are you?
The audacity of this bitch. So you're coming in at a great time.
Stop right there, Amaretta.
Don't worry about it.
You're the new student, Lilith Blonde.
Have you seen any of this previously, Cyril? I can't remember. Basically, we're inadvertently time traveling constantly to try and save everyone at the school. All you need to know is that Opalnaria, lady on the right, is the necromancy teacher, and she is angry at me. Amaretta is a homunculi made from the soul of an angel, and she is my wife. She's Lilith's girlfriend, and it's very good.
I guess we'll have to do this Bartito style.
What are you doing? If you don't stop casting that rune, you will be punished.
It's okay. I'm here now. Also, Dougie, hi! Here, let me... I think it's only the 3 of y'all, but I'm still gonna give y'all shout-outs. Oh, fuck. Assuming I can actually spell properly. Oh, look at that! You were streaming Resident Evil 7 last! Who knew? Brody, what were you doing? Oh, you were doing your reading stream, right? And... this is the game with you in it! Perfect, beautiful. Hi, Dougie! You said you were at work, right? That's fine. That's okay, I guess, I suppose. We still love you. Alright. Well, there's shoutouts for everyone. It's just you guys in chat right now, and that's fine, but they're there. They're there. If you don't follow each other, you
If you're that
should.
determined, I'll have to show you the speed
I
of
got.
my casting.
Oh my god, Opalnaria, no.
How could this be?
Okay. Plan of attack. Oops, all dragons. Oops, all dragons, right? We're gonna go the oops, all dragons route. I like the oops, all dragons. Let's get a chaos nest. There is that bad boy over there. I said what I said. We want us them dragons, you know?
Okay. You want something?
It's gonna be a very long way for them to walk, but that's okay. Actually, I want to put this... I want to put this here. It is our main strat, it's true. This is accurate. If we just summon all dragons all the time, then there will be no problem. But that's gonna be the main strat for now. Just summoning dragons. It's bad when we're not allowed to summon dragons. Again, I think we did a very good job with, that one alchemy level. It took us a little bit, but as soon as I realized I could summon golems, we were set. I wouldn't mind having golems in this level either, but the issue with that mostly comes from the fact that I have to constantly tell them to attack, / I would have to tell the homunculi to send out that stupid attack that it has to make astral beings be affected by physical attacks, and that's rough. Cool, my brain doesn't function. Let's do a, like, high strategy game right now. This is gonna be good. It's fine. I've been thinking about this all weekend, but not enough to actually have a solid plan. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Guess what? Guess what? We're gonna have a second dragon here in a second. It's gonna be great. There's our first dragon, and look at this. We got another dragon showing up. Oh boy. We'll get it. It's fine. It just might be a bit of a struggle at first, and that's okay. We don't mind. Hey, dragon, do you want to turn a little bit? Look at that. Look at that! You look like a gummy worm. Who's to say he's not? Who's to say he's not a gummy worm? He's our gummy draggy boy? So wiggly. Look at him. Just look at him. Wiggle. And wiggle. Oh boy. Oh my god, I've done this so bad. I keep forgetting to do literally everything. Hold on a second. Let me update MooBot. Fortunately, I have all the links and the things that I need saved. I just didn't update it. That's all. Whoa! Alright, game link can go away for now. Fortunately, there aren't many content warnings for this game. Just some partial nudity, some violence, some blood, and dragons. Ding dong bing bong, indeed. We don't, okay, so I don't have it as a chat command, but I do have a sound alert. We do got the ding dong bing bong sound alert. So that's a thing that you don't gotta worry about. I got that covered. It's just the announcement for Danganronpa. That's basically it. For basically everything. Usually when a body has been found. Also, Ghosty's gotta go.
My creator.
And they gotta go. There we go. Good job, dragons. I mean, yeah, the body, because you got the ding dong bing bong, and then you got Monokuma saying that a body's been discovered. They usually go in tandem, but we just like the ding dong bing bong, because it's there for everything. You just need the ding dong bing bong for everything. Can we... this? No, I need to not overextend myself. My dragon's gotta stay here. My dragon children must stay in place. I can get another dragon, though. So that's cool. Do you think if I double up on dragons, put one here, like, put two here, put two over on the other side, and then summon more dragons, do you think we'll be good? I can't, I mean, I would love to triple up on dragons. Hell, I would love to quadruple up on dragons. But I don't have enough people allocations. Dad? What's up, Sam? How's it going? How are you doing? Get him, dragon! Fuck him up, dragon! Do the thing! Do a murder, dragon! Yeah, you did a murder, dragon. Good job. I do want you to destroy that for me, though. I don't want you to go too far, but I do want you to do a murder on that. Okay.
What will you learn? What will you learn? That your actions have consequences.
Never. Not ever. I just want my dragon to turn around. That's all. Again, I would love to quad up on dragons, but I don't have enough space for people. Can't do that. I'm afraid I can't do that, Sam. Okay, now you can turn around, buddy. Okay? I am gonna get another dragon, though. Oops. All dragons. What if I build more houses like in Age of Empires? I haven't played that game in literal years. What the heck? What the heck? Anyway, as I was about to say, dragon, buddy, hey. There you go. There you go. I do wanna
My creator.
get that homunculus going on over here. Just kind of fuck everyone up, alright? See, I like that my dragons can attack just normally, but that the homunculus kind of helps with that. Makes them hit harder. Alright, dragon, go make your slow trek over here, okay? Because our other boy's about to die! No! Oh, that's a problem! Yeah, I know I'm getting attacked. It's not great. This is a good game. I would highly recommend. I have to sneeze. I think. Very good strategy game. Select all the blobs, make all the blobs go back over here. Dragon, I need you to move a little faster, okay? Basically, all you need to do with this game is just oops all dragon your way through everything. Just summon dragons. As long as you summon dragons, everything's fine. You know? Oh boy. But yeah. Cute story, good art, fun gameplay. GrimGrimoire is the best. Good nostalgia game for me. Dragon's not doing great. Dragon is not feeling great. I keep thinking about like deviating away from our original plan, which is just dragons. But I mean, I do need that other dragon for over here. I do need 2 dragons over there. What if I summon a bunch of morning stars, though? Yeah, Chaos Nest. It's a good combo of words. I mean, it really do be. I don't want the Grimalkin burn. Mana burn. That's not fantastic. I do, however... We all do be living in the Chaos Nest. Oh, what a time to be alive. I don't have a TikTok. I keep being told that I need to get one. I need to make an account. But I'm not sure that I'm ready to give up on this. I'm also still just living in the past of Vines. Oh no. I'll consider. I'll start heavily considering it. Think about it. Oh my god. But do I? Do I actually? But hear me out. Do I really? Oh? No, I will genuinely consider it. I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like I get secondhand TikToks from everyone. People send me TikToks to look at, and like they're hilarious and great. But I know if I get it, then that's all I will do with my time, and I'm not entirely sure that I'm prepared to do that with my life. I mean, you should just send me memes anyway. You should just send me good, funny things anyhow, because I appreciate a good shitpost. Oh, what's happening here? Dragons, be safe! Oh, don't have enough mana. And see, like, I already have enough things in my life that just kind of take up all of my time. Which is, like, fine. But they're definitely, you know, time holes. It's not a great way to describe it, I apologize. Oh, I've made a mistake in calling it that. What's going on over here? Y'all good?
My creator.
Just ruin them. Just ruin them already. I heart hole. I heart. It's all backwards now, but I heart hole. I also love this shirt because it's like literally 5 times too big for me, which just is great. Cause like if I wanted, hold on a second. If I wanted, I could wear this bitch as a dress, and like I'm here for t-shirt dresses, okay? It's a good shirt. It's a very good comfy shirt. Good time. Let me just work this t-shirt for ya. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. We got this. It's good. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Telling you, Dorohedoro is a good show that everyone needs to watch. Okay, hold on a second. We got
My creator.
We heart hole, we heart hole, we heart hole.
Yeah, you got this. You know what's up. Good lord. I don't actually want my dragons to go that far down. But y'all can hang out here. That'd be cool. Okay, maybe I will actually start making my dragons do things. Let's go. If I send... Look, if I summon dragons and morning stars, and then just have them kind of slowly but surely work their way down, down the playing field, do you think we could do it? You think we could do a proper murder on this teacher? I think we could do a proper murder on this teacher. Also, I should probably... I will upgrade that as soon as I can. Hey, dragons, you're very close to being dead, and that's a little concerning for me. I don't really have enough, anything to keep you alive for much longer. So have you considered just not? Oh boy.
My creator. Quite exciting at
Okay. You know what? We got this. It's fine. It's fine. Morningstar, I don't like that I have to tell you what to do all the time. I wish I didn't. No!
grant your wish.
Well, this is a problem. Well, this
Shining star.
is a dang problem. It's fine. It fine. Hey, homunculus, you wanna help a girl out? Help a girl out. Make these bitches weak to fire. Yeah? Yeah. So, TLDR, it's a little difficult. This is one of the harder levels, honestly. The whole point, though, at least in this one, is to destroy all of your opponent's runes, which are these things, like the Chaos Nest and stuff. Under my face cam, we got our lovely little flowchart that shows you what's weak to what. So you got the 4 different schools of magic, right? And that's cool and stuff. But yeah, oh. So you got the 4 different schools of magic. You've got glamour, so basically starting from top and then going clockwise.
Good morning,
Nimbly.
BB.
Good morning to you too, BB. How's it going? How are you doing? Thank you for the sub. Hi. Let me get you a shout out, even though everyone here knows who you are. If somebody, by chance, does not know who Nimbly is, go fucking subscribe to them. They're super wonderful and delightful and have the most mellow streams ever. It's great. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing pretty alright. I'm very sleepy today, but it's like a good sleepy. We're just kind of chilling right now. It's good. Playing some GrimGrimoire. I'm talking flowcharts over here. Because I get very excited about things, I guess. I don't know. Words are hard right now. It's chill. Don't even worry about it. We got dragons. We got ghost girls. It's a good time, you know? That's not actually totally correct. I got a couple hours of sleep, but very close to none hours. That's just how I roll, though. Let's be real. I mean, it's true. Words aren't real. Some hours of sleep. Only some hours of sleep. Actually, I feel very confident in this particular run. We're doing decent. Is this the last one? Are you serious? Nah. Okay. I was gonna say that seems incorrect. Where the heck are the other runes then? Are they down here? They would be. So sleep. Much rest. Yeah, how much sleep did Cyril get? Hey Cyril? Did you actually sleep? That's the real question. Hey ladies, do you want to do the thing? Okay, but did you sleep a lot?
With the sunrise.
I thought, sorry, I'm dumb brain. I read that and I thought you meant between like 3 and 11 hours of sleep, and I was like, Cyril. No, I understand. Okay. No, I need them to attack more. I need you to attack, like, regularly, please. Oh, fuck. Cool. Well, dragons, I'm gonna need you to do this good. I do need bonus sleep. I got a lot of sleep last week. Like, I think there were like 2 whole nights in a row that I actually got like a decent amount of rest, which never happens. And so now I get to pay for that for forever. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Hey, stop. This game is great. Nimbly, I think you would really, really like it. It's very cute. It's very anime. It's an RTS. It's a real-time strategy game. And it's very good. You get to summon creatures and destroy rooms and just be gay. That's my selling point to this particular community, is you get to be gay, and that's really cute. It's just great. It's so good. I just need you to understand that it's so good, because it's like, they don't even make it a big deal. It's not even like everyone's gasping and being like, oh, a gay. It's just like alright, you're this cute little blonde witch girl, and you happen to be gay. Yeah, your gay was flagged. It's fine. Automod be like, I do love to be gay here. It's good. It's good. Yeah, no. It's fantastic. I have, to be fair, I did turn auto mod up a little bit, just to be safe. Just to be safe with all the shit that's been going on lately. So it's gonna come down hard on everyone, to which it's like, auto mod, I trust these folks. These folks knows what's up. I did beat you, Fruity, but it's okay, you tried. Right, I would 100% be a little too jumpy right now, then disregard something that, you know, is definitely a problem. You know how it be.
You have such power.
We did it! Sorry. We do have a bunch of stacked dragons. We did actually stack our dragons. Dragon Stack is OP. Dragon Stack is the real MVP of this game.
Maria, I'm sorry.
When in
But
doubt,
I can't let you sacrifice Amaretta.
stack a dragon. Sorry, we struggled so hard with this level on Wednesday last week, and now we've just blown through it. Thanks, y'all, for being here. I'm gonna say it's all because y'all. I would hate that. I would just a stack of dragons. It's like a human period, but
Place a sleeping spell on
period.
her.
Oh no, a
Put her
human
to sleep
pyramid.
for 3 days.
My fucking brain. Also, yeah, the booba.
Wait,
Opalnaria's
Lilith.
also stacked.
Teacher, I'm sorry.
I love Opalnaria, but she's not my favorite. She used to be. This is what I'm here for. Don't worry. We got a real good score that time. Cool. I'm happy with this. That was so hard last time. What did we get this time? Golem and Gargoyle defense up and Imp power up. Yeah, my brain is gone. It's mush. So the plan was to hang out for pretty much most of the stream yesterday, but then I just stayed all stream, except for when I had to leave to do my own stream. And oopsies, 15 hours. Surprise, we're all just mushy brain today. It's fine. Just keep them coming. Keep the commands coming. It's fine. Maybe I'll add them. Maybe we'll just make secret commands sometimes. And it'll be up to y'all to figure it out.
I'm doomed.
Okay, what's going on?
Keep your voice down.
Also our boy!
Are you serious about this, Lilith Blum?
Also our boy! Sorry. Exclamation point, I heart hole! Fucking hell. I know I've shown this off before, but I'm gonna do it again. Maybe, if I can fucking find the picture. I know it exists around here somewhere. Oh god, that's not right. That was incorrect. Please? Hey, Discord, I need you to work properly for me, okay? Alright. I gotta find my Advocat cosplay. That's what's happening right now. I cosplayed this motherfucker at one point. It was very good. And I don't think everyone here has seen it before. And practically every stream I have to show it off. So don't worry about it. Beard Kayshurrr. Beard Kayshurrr. Beard Kayshurrr was very powerful. Oh, there's Beard Kayshurrr. Hi, Boba. I'm Dad. Booba. Is that a rat getting shaken? Yeah, it is. There's baby Kayshurrr with a beard. I was like 17 at that point, I think. And I made that. I made that whole outfit. Made that whole dang outfit by myself. I don't like how fast that one is blinking. Hey, I used to be talented. Cosplay meetup when? Like whenever? Like whenever? Also, Emmy, hi! Yeah, we're showing off the cosplay again. Not everyone had seen it yet, and then Advocat showed up, and I was like, I gotta show off my cosplay. Emmy, look, everyone's excited that you're here! I did lots of cosplay at some point. Hold on, what else do I got? What other ones can I show off? Oh yeah! I dressed up as Halibel from Bleach at one point. Again, baby. This is just me showing off cosplays now. I don't actually have a ton of pictures from that time of my life, because shit got weird and wacky for a little bit. But that's okay. Baby Kayshurrr. Cosplay stream? Maybe. Oh! Here's I mean, this was from a cosplay stream. Emma from Promised Neverland, anyone? Hey! Yeah, but we can't share the pictures in your minds. That's because the cosplays that we did together, or that we did like around the same time, were just, they were very good. I got that good cowlick going. Don't worry about it. I used to, well, I still do, kinda. Anime hair, it's a thing. Oh, here's this one. Made that one too! Also, it's me with long dark hair. It's my actual hair. I miss my hair being that long. Kinda. Kind of. It's a lot of work. Ayo! Have anything else that I can show off? Maybe not. Some sim powers. Oh no. Oh no. Oh! Here's an outfit that I made for the premiere of The Hobbit. It's got Hobbit Kayshurrr. It's cool. Right? I miss it and then I chop it off, and then I miss it and then I chop it off, and it's just this never-ending circle.
Shrimping for Kayshurrr check.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought Nimbly would like this one, because like it was my Hobbit outfit. It's good, it's fine. I also made, this isn't a cosplay, but it's me in a very good t-shirt. And also in a cute hoodie that I made, or I guess cloak. There you go. That's a thing. Still have that one sitting around somewhere. I gotta pull it out. It's a fun cloak. I just wish I had more pictures, because this one's a little more recent. But it's like, I wish I had pictures of all the cosplays that I did, like, back in the day. Because I don't have any of my Yoruichi cosplay, which was, like, one of my all-time favorites. That fucking bodysuit was a pain in the ass. I'm gonna. Part of the issue is that I took a ton of pictures, but then, like, my phones were prone to just exploding randomly. And then a lot of the other ones got, you know, taken away by an ex. And so it's like, yeah. It sucks. But I want to start doing more cosplays again. I miss it. I miss sewing and making things and dressing up. It's fun. So we're gonna do that more. Next on the list is a Waluigi cosplay. And we're gonna make it happen. I don't know. So part of my hesitation with a sewing stream is just making a setup where you could actually, like, see everything. I do have 2 webcams, so, like, I could probably figure that out. But it would take a while for me to, like, figure out how to properly set it up, especially since all my sewing stuff is all the way at the end of the hallway, and I'm all the way over here with my computer. We'll just use 3 webcams, it's fine. But, webcam on, webcam on, webcam on, webcam on, webcam on, webcam on, webcam! It's gonna be great. I'm getting flashbacks to Cyril's stream yesterday with the egg thing. Egg. Yeah, we're gonna get Waluigi going at some point, because I really do want to, like, make that happen. And also, speaking of beard cache, I do like cosplaying with facial hair. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so there's that cosplay check for you.
Yes. Selling my soul to a devil isn't something I would do for fun, you know.
No scream, it's fine. It's just Advocat.
A young girl's
We can sell our soul to
is
him, it's
extremely
fine.
valuable. This can only prove profitable to me.
Hi! Do you want to come up and say hello? Come here. Oh my god. You just want to show me your butt, and that doesn't work. Is Devo. Devo scream. Devo say pay attention to me. Thank you for the licks, buddy. I know I needed it. Yummy.
Egg.
At a point, it just sounds like she's saying gag. To which it's like, Kimmerl, don't do that. You are so heavy and so purry. And I'm gonna throw you on the floor. I'm not actually gonna throw you, but I'm gonna set you down, and you're gonna be a happy boy, okay? He says, no, only hold. Yeah, just yeet. Gotta yeet that boy. Hi. Where's Lamia? She's sleeping over there. All right. Hey, Devo. Hey, look at me. Cyril loves you. Hi, Ella. How's it going? Let me get a shout out for you, Ella. If y'all don't follow Ella yet, you should. Because she's sweet and fantastic and lovely. And don't mind me while I just, like, rub my nose. Don't worry about it. Oh, we missed you too. How's it going? How are you doing? I saw that you're busy on Wednesday with some stuff. I hope you're holding up pretty alright. It's true. The nose needs rubbing. Allergies are the worst. And it's like, I mean, my allergies definitely get worse, like, in the spring, summer. Fall is not great. But I do really just have year-round allergies. was just me all the time. And then, for those of us with septum rings, you know, even if your nose is just like, just a scoosh, like running at all, it's miserable, because your nose ring is like, ugh, and you're like, please stop. Right, all your allergy club at you! Miserable. I don't wish allergies on anybody.
What is your wish? If it's love,
but...
I can grant it right now.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty all right. I was gonna say all good. Oh my god. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But again, it's like in a good way.
No.
Just vibing.
I want to borrow a book. The Lemegaton written by King
Yes,
Solomon.
100%. I'm gonna be basically free. I mean, I've got classes on Tuesday and Thursday, but I've got like the next 3 days off, essentially. So I'm around. Hit me up. If people want to do shit, let me know. Sleepy Club! Sleepy Club!
I'm sorry, but I cannot accept that condition.
Also,
I cannot make that contract.
Advocate, let me sell my soul to you!
Wait, Mr. Advocate. I thought you could grant any wish if I gave you my soul.
We gotta watch the last 3 episodes. Everyone else really liked it, so I'm hoping that those of you who missed it, who want to watch it again, are, you know, will enjoy it as well.
Sleepy Club Pog Eily all.
Eily all too! Thanks, guys, for all the bits. For everyone who's donating, I guess.
Devils aren't blinded by souls. I would never agree to such a disadvantage.
But if I can summon and command Grimlet, I can send him back to hell. Was I wrong?
Uh-huh. So even if I do my devil's work,
it's so
that
good.
Old man would have to consent.
It's so good. I love this game, and I'm very, very happy to be able to share it with everyone. Cause yeah, this is like one of those games that I played a lot of when I was younger. Probably like 10, 11 or whatever. Maybe even before that, I guess. Maybe I was like 9. I don't remember. But whatever. It's a good game. And like, I shared it with Emmy, like, when we were friends in high school and stuff, because I was like, here, let's bond over this. And we did. And it's a good game. And now I can share it with everyone else, because I have a vague platform to be able to do that with. And I love it, because it's a good game!
Adds more value to
we
the
just
soul.
scream about it. I love it.
I'll agree. With the following conditions. First, you cannot use any runes on me. And your soul is mine 1 week from today.
That's harsh. But it can't be helped.
It's so good.
Business is ruthless. If you try to back out now, I will be gravely disappointed. Please
Fine. Make it
sign
happen.
this contract with your blood.
Right,
It
even
is very
Fruity likes
important that
what
you
mug today? It's my octopus mug. It's a good mug. I got it when I was in Colorado and stoned at the Natural History Museum. Hey! It's a good mug. I'm going to, as soon as my fucking money comes in. Give me my fucking money! Yeah, as soon as my money comes in, I am getting an egg mug. Cyril, like, I need you to understand this. I will be purchasing an egg mug.
Swearing by oath can change over time.
Man Juice needs...
For words merely
needs a
travel
buddy,
on the wind.
Which, I haven't watched him since yesterday, but, like, he's just here. He's just chilling. He's a good boy. Oh, I just have weird glasses. This one's full of water, and it's hard to see, but it's a football? This glass is a football. And I hate sports, but I love these glasses. The Natural History Museum in Colorado. I want to say it was in Colorado Springs. I don't know. I got sent out there for work training. And had no idea where I was. But I had weekends off. or had the weekend off for the 2 weeks that I was out there, and was like, I'm gonna go check out this fucking rock exhibit while I'm stoned, and it's gonna be great. And I did, and it was fucking great. The glass is a football. So many VODs to catch up on. It's gonna be great, though. Don't worry about it.
What happens if a devil breaks a contract?
But yeah, no, Colorado has some really, really great museums. I could do without a lot of the other parts of Colorado.
Mocked as a disgrace, he can't escape
At least, like, the
hell for
town,
thousands of
the city
years.
parts of Colorado, I
But
could do without.
don't
But the
worry.
museums are great, and the
This
nature out there is
contract
really
will
awesome.
be executed. No one can escape a devil's collection agency.
I assume you didn't. Yes! Oh, no! Flight's getting canceled. It might have been Denver. Again, I don't know where the fuck I was. I don't know where I was in Colorado. I just know I was there. Fun fact, that was when I was being trained to be a manager for an adult store, and so I had a lot of other things on my mind at that point.
Oh? Do you have a plan? Hmm?
Yes, I have a plan. I have a cat. Let's go. Let's
There's
go.
no way he
Come on,
knows
buddy.
about my trick. He's just being a devil. Calm down.
Well, that's fine. If your plan fails, I will take your soul before he kills
Hi,
you.
I'm Kayshurrr of the many jobs. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's go ahead and save. Yeah. Yeah. Save, yeah. I, like, didn't listen to any of that, and I should have. It was my boy. I mean, no, 100%. Would agree with that. I've just had some weird-ass jobs. And a lot of the time I don't think I really realized how weird most of my jobs were until I started talking to folks about it. And they were like, you've done what now? The
This
what?
bed wasn't built for two, but we're gonna have to tolerate it for now.
Sorry, my babies. My gay little babies.
I don't mind, but we can't highlight this forever, can we?
Exactly.
We just need a few more days.
Lilith
I'm
or
sorry.
Amaretta? Girl on the left or the girl on the right?
Oh no! What happened to your nose?
Lilith's great. Amaretta's great. I love them. Emmy did a Lilith cosplay at one point.
You push and squirm a lot when you sleep. I fell out of bed twice last night.
Oh my
I'm
god, I love them.
sorry. I was just so happy. I never felt someone else's warmth before.
My gay little girls! Sorry, I love them. Are gay!
It's funny. You look older than me, but sometimes you're so babyish.
It's only been 106 days since I was born. I'd be in diapers if I were human.
Oh, okay, Amaretta. Yeah, these
Hey,
two!
it's Gaff. Don't lock me out.
Hey, it's gay! So she's a homunculus. She's a created being. The alchemy teacher made her. Yeah, don't let's not talk about the diapers, Amaretta. She doesn't know any better. She doesn't know. She's just she's just a baby. She's just sweet innocent creature.
I can't let you clean. I'm afraid you'll drop Amaretta's
Ye
flask
old
and break it.
homunculus. It's okay. No dogs or children were hurt in the creation of this being.
Anyway, listen to this. I was watching Professor Gamble like you told me to. He started talking to himself. It kind of sounded like someone else was there.
Gaff, that's because somebody else was
And
there.
then he didn't look so good.
Uh-oh.
Why didn't you say so?
Oh
no.
Oh! Skipping dialogue. Think about Big Titty Goth Homunculus and FFA. I need to rewatch Full Metal Alchemist. I don't think I ever finished all of Brotherhood.
It's a strong but
Actually, now that I think
rune.
about it.
It'll take a little longer
But,
to summon.
I should do that sometime
That
soon.
ruin is Lilith Blonde. Do you have
Oh.
any idea what you're doing?
Hold on just a second. My mother is calling me. Oh, BRB.
Edward. Edward. Edward.
Hey, friends. Sam, I know exactly which death you're talking about. The other one that just hurt, because I think we all also died alongside that character.
Uh-oh. He's found out. I'll go ahead and hide somewhere safe.
Okay, bye, Advocate.
Mr. Advocate, how long have you been here? And you sound so misleading.
I'm not listening to a word you say. It seems you're already possessed.
What? No.
All right.
Chartreuse,
Now
no.
concentrate.
Fuck, okay. Endure for 30 minutes for summoning Grimlet. Okay. No one has. We've all suffered. Hold on. Stop. Where am I? Open. Fuck. Okay, we've got an opening here. Here. And here. But he's summoning alchemy runes, right? So I'm gonna be good with just sorcery. Unless Chartreuse is cool like, unless Chartreuse is like Opalnaria and likes to diversify what he's doing. It's so far away. Are they? They're not! Hey, buddies! Is it safe to go over here? We're hooting about Full Metal Alchemist, which is arguably one of the best animes ever. Welcome back. Don't even worry about it. Alright, let's get a Chaos Nest. Let's also... You're wrong, Fruity. You are incorrect. I suppose a Gehenna rune might be nice. So I can make butt ladies if I gotta. Defuli, hi! Hi, 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 hi! Hi! How's it going, friends? Let me just get stuck in a hello loop. Get a shout out for Defuli going. How was Resident Evil 4? I think we briefly talked about, well, I think you talked about it in Cyril's stream last night. My brain was gone. I was thinking about fuses, and that was it. That was my life. Fuse! Cyril! Fuse! Fuse, Cyril! But have you tried using the fuse? Oh lord. Okay, let's... Goodness gracious. It was a long, good stream. Oh boy. What a time to be alive. Let's get a couple of those going. Can I get... more of those. She refused to talk about anything else. It's true. It's true. Because it was important. It was important in the ship, okay? It was necessary to scream about. I swear. Resident Evil 4 was dope as usual. Fuses are a requirement in any and all horror games, and so the more fuses you get, the better. Obviously. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. Can we make another one there? Okay. I mean, Resident Evil puts cranks over fuses, but fuses are a necessary part of horror games. You do. You really do just be wanting to fight. Fruity, why are you like this? That's fine. Look! Look! I got butt ladies! Look! Come on, butt ladies! Everything's great. Valve handles are important too. I'll give you that. I can agree to that. Butt ladies are pog. We love us a good butt lady. I mean, look at them! Look at those sassy girls! So oh, hey. I should get rid of those. Have you heard the word about our Lord and Savior, the Butt Lady? Jeez. I need my imp buddy to come over here. Ooh, hey, 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 hey. Why are my imps choosing the worst possible place to go? Thanks for hanging out while you have. It's always lovely to hear from you, Sam. Good rest of your shift. Take care of your dang self. We'll see you later. Right? Right? I mean, you can 100% know you look good in battle while also just, you know, doing a good murder on all of the rooms. You're welcome. Anytime. It's what I'm here for, honestly. Okay, can we... I need them to stop hurting my babies, first and foremost. Dragon stack! Dragon stack! Love us our dragon stacks. I do want them to stop hurting my dragon stack, but there are a lot of these bad boys here, and you know what? I think we're just gonna turn around. Hey dragons, let's go home. Go take a nap. Go take a nap. It's important. It's a good thing to do. Oh, hey dragons? Hey dragons? I need you to stop wandering away, honeys. Okay? I do need you to kind of come here. Just hang out here, okay? It's true, it's true. Oh, that dragon's gonna die. Look at him slowly start disappearing. Let's crack these eggs. I mean, look, if my butt looked that good, I'd be flexing it constantly. Oh Lord. Okay, this is like the place to chill, isn't it? Hey, can you attack him? It's true. It's absolutely true. 100%? would definitely... Ella! Thank you for the contribution to the reading stream. I keep forgetting that that's a thing. Hey, y'all. We got a challenge going for a reading stream. Fruity, thank you for the contribution as well. Fantastic. Are you ready to watch this dragon slow motion vanish out of here? Maybe not. Alright. That's fine. I should level you up. Zero, thank you for the contribution as well. I'm still filtering through. Where are you going? Why are you going? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what we're gonna read. But whatever it is, it's gonna be great and spooky. And I'm very excited about it. Hydrate from Ella, I can do that. Thank you. That's usually how it goes. Can we get up here? Let's come down here. See, I just forget that it's a thing, and so then I forget to remind people, so when someone else remembers, it's fantastic, and I love it. Right? No, absolutely same. Hey, oh my god.
It's about time.
Demons? Hey, demons? I need to select you, buddies! God. Go fuck up these golems for me, okay? Alright. Thank you, buds. Thanks. You're doing a great job, Sweaty.
Jeez.
Let's get some butt demons. Speaking of which, my dragons are doing it bad. They're not paying attention to the fact that they're getting hurt, and that's a little concerning. Oh, hey, it's a chimera. That's why it sounds like something's getting hit constantly, because things are getting hit constantly. Oofa doofa. Okay, don't go any further, dragon. Hey, stay here, buddy. You got 26 health, kid. You're not fit for battle anymore. Oh boy. Sorry, shoulder hurts. Okay, do not get me wrong. I love me the chimeras. The trouble is, I don't love them when they're not mine. Oh, this is a problem. This is a problem. Fucking took out my imp again. Yeah, get him, butt lady. Fuck it up. Okay, you've slowed me down. Oh no. What a terrible fate. Butt lady knows what's up. Little homuncule, I can't do much. And it sucks for them, really. More than anything. It's just unfortunate for them. But look, we're a third of the way through. We got this. It's fine.
Jeez.
I'm just gonna make a whole line of butt ladies going so that we got a little extra defense happening. It's kinda nice. I mean, I gotta pay attention to these sides, but it should be cool. You know why? Because we have to make... The only thing that I have to be wary of are chimeras. because they can go over this open space. But everything else, it's sort of like a... No, you got a bottleneck. And GrimGrimoire butt slaps you! People usually get excited about the sound of those, the clapping of those ass cheeks. Not in this game. You hear that clap, you better run! Fucking hell. Oh, I love it. Okay, hey. Hey, do you want to stop hurting that thing for me? Maybe? Hey! Alright, you know what? I am gonna get a little greedy. And that's fine. You know why? Because I can get another dragon already. And our sweet little imp here doing a great job getting us some butt ladies! Wowie! Oh, our sweet little dragon is so slow. That's okay. We still love him. I need you to come down here. You're gonna die. You're definitely gonna die. Okay, you're dead. The slow little... Oh, sweet baby. Again, should probably consider other defenses, but... Eh. Dragons and butt ladies, we got this. Look at him go! Look at him go! Again, you're doing great, Sweaty. I am kind of tempted to summon a couple of chimeras just because they're fun. You know? You get them, imp. So yeah, do we want... That's because homunculi don't have many options when it comes to, Dragons have the tendency to do that. Stop! I like it. I like that the golems have range, because that works very well for me. It's not as fantastic when they use it against me. Yeah, fuck it. We're doing a chimera spawn. Sometimes the dragons just get sleepy and gotta do an Ouroboros on themselves. Ouroboros. It's hard to say sometimes. It's fine. Dragon, I need you to move a little faster, buddy. Hey, baby. Hey, honey. Do you wanna scooch a little quicker? Huh? Look, you can ignore the homunculus. They don't. Butt ladies got those handled, okay? Look, now you're slow and silly, and it's a problem. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and do the max HP up. I think... Look, we're halfway through. We're doing alright. We're doing okay. We might sacrifice this boy. Take out some of these totems. So that it's easier when these things get close. That I'm not having to fucking face tank a bunch of totems on top of everything else. You know? I know, we did. We sacrificed so many boys, and it's just because these totems suck ass. But it's doing a little better now. What was that sound? Consume? I don't know what that does. We're gonna find out. It's a moment of silence for the boys, please. F in chat to pay respects. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, no! I need this chimera to show up faster, please. I might also... It's a little ballsy. But I kind of want to summon some imps to start harvesting that crystal there. But I should wait until we get this Chimera and I take out this stupid golem. This dumb boy. It's fine. It's cool. We got this. It's handled. Look at him! Look at our precious child. Go get him. Go get him, boys. Yeah, let's get 5 of those going. Oh, hi, other Chimera. This is a problem. This is a problem. Hey, do you want to come down here where you might get hit? Nope, Chimera says only attack. We do love us our murder child. This is a problem. That Chimera just sort of came and went. Yikes. Hey, I would like to select this rune, please. Yikes. Please, Chimera, be done. Please, Chimera, be done. All done, Chimera? Why is it not hurting it? Why is it not hurting it? Why is it not getting hurt? Why did it not? Oh, it was. There were just a lot of other things going on, too. Okay. Alright. Yeah, you know what? You take out that Chimera summoning station. That's fine. This is a problem. Look, we got 10.5 minutes left. Please. Dragon. Thank you. This is what happens when you deviate from the Oops All Dragons plan. Bad things happen. Things occur that you don't want. I would like the Chaos Nest, and I would like to summon more. Please. This is a problem. It's a big wacky boy, you're right. He do those kicks. Hey, can you stop gooping my goops? Have you considered not gooping my boys? Oh, lordy. Oh, they summoned more totems. Cool. I love that for me. Hey, Demon, if you could, like, show up now, that would be cool. You can take care of home for us. Fantasy playbook's very specific about it being buds and dragons. All butts, all dragons. All butts, all dragons all the time. No other options. I made a mistake. I thought I was being smart and funny, and I wasn't. Butts are mostly for us, but they are helpful. We do appreciate a good, helpful butt. Fuck. I do need to resummon our butt maker, though. So that's kind of a bit. Gotta boost their butt morale. Also, if they could stop summoning these, that would be great. I would love that for me. Guess what I can do now, though? We can summon more butts again. Demon? Hey, Demon? Hey, Demon. Hey, Demon. Hey, Demon. Oh, we are not doing fantastic. I would like, if I may, to summon some more butts. A butt catastrophe. I'm here for it. Honestly, I'm here for that. I just need... No! Stop! Stop making these! Stop! Hey, actually? Just stop. The butts do kind of offer a very nice, like, countermeasure for when a dragon dies. And I need something to kind of, you know, act like a barrier. Or good barriers, basically, is what I'm saying. Oh, hey, our boy died. Who needs butt spot anyway? I do. I need butt spot. But with the lack of butt spot happening, we'll make do with some butt ladies instead. How's it going, Octorocket? How are you doing? Stop hurting us. Look, my butt lady's basically done, okay? Hey. How's it going? How are you doing? How are things? I need you to go ahead and start making a thing over here. Oh, I don't have enough mana. This is a problem. BTW. Butts totally win. It's true. It's true. They're, we stand a good butt. I need these golems to stop. Look, I got 6 minutes on the clock left, okay? That's totally understandable, Cyril. You had a long-ass day yesterday. Take care of your dang self. Do what you gotta. Just chill out. If that works for you, then just, hey, just chill out here. We're good with that. You know? We got that. Find a particular track from the Lotus or OST. I wish you all of the success in finding the specific track. Happy to help. I've said it before, but I really like the afternoon streams that I've been doing. Just because it's like, it's a nice excuse, for me to like get out of bed and actually do a thing. Love that for me. But it's also nice because it's so much more mellow than like our evening streams, which I love. I love how fucking ridiculous our evening streams are. But it's cool to just kind of like sit back and relax and chat and hang out, you know? I summoned you. Get up here! Get up here, you goober! And the fact that everyone's been enjoying I'm sorry, excuse me. Everything's shaking. The fear that I felt. Oh fuck! Oh no, there's 2 of them! It's cause it's a good game. Cause it's a good dang game. Oof, oof, oof. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Please, I need a dragon ASAP. Please, I need a dragon now. Oh, I think we're gonna fail this one. I think I'm gonna have to redo this one. I think we're gonna have to redo this one. Okay, at least that second Chimera got taken care of, so we still just have the one over here. But that's okay, because I'm gonna have a dragon here in a few seconds. Please, 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 please. Oh no. We got 3 minutes! I got 3 minutes to at least protect this one rune over here. That's a Chimera! They're good boys when they're on my team. They're not good boys when they're not on my team. Yeah, 3 minutes. Oh fuck. Chimeras are great when they're on my team. The unfortunate thing is they are not on my team right now. Oh no. Oh, we're out of mana. Oh, we're out of mana. Skybear fully coming in hot with all these good puns. This is bad. We're dead. I got 2 minutes on the clock and I can't do anything. You keep doing it. You're doing it very good. Yeah, we're fucked. Come on, 1:40 left. Fuck. Okay. We've got enough time to actually do this again. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. I need to not set up
It's
our...
a strong, difficult rune.
I need to not set up the
It'll
butt
take a little
ladies
longer to
on the
summon.
side like I did last time. I didn't realize that the map bottlenecked at the top. I need to set up some defenses. If I do butt ladies on the sides and then just spam dragons right down the middle, I think we should be okay. Get a couple of demons in there so I can go up and take care of any long distance. No, you know what? Alchemy can't hurt necromancy, right? So if I have a couple of... I think the towers can hurt them. I think the alchemy towers, the gargoyles, I think those can hurt knights. Dad Class 6 punning is a free action. I believe it. We've all picked up punning as a free action at this point.
Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Sorry, I'm trying to think of what to do. I need another soda. I need more caffeine, is what I need. You're not cold. Why aren't you cold? You've been in there all night. Cold coffee. Get cold coffee. I say that because it is 86 degrees here. And hot coffee doesn't sound great. It's okay. We've got sleepy cereal right now. If you throw coffee on top of it, we're not gonna quite get coffee cereal. We'll just get normal cereal.
Uh-oh. He's found out.
Key features of Dead Glass,
I'll go ahead
socks
and
of
hide
sandals, and a
somewhere
fanny
safe.
pack. Travis, no!
Mr. Advocate,
Also, hi friend, how's it going?
How long have you been here? And
I'm not
I mean,
listening
it's
to a
true.
word
Normal
you
cereal is
say.
also chaotic.
It seems you're...
I feel like coffee cereal is an elevated level of
concentrate.
that. Quickly summon phantoms to destroy gargoyles. Or I could not. Although, I guess Psychic Storm might be nice for those. Class-specific skills. Dad Burn, fire damage over time, Dad Blast, and AoE, and Dad Gum, immobilize. Here for this. Okay. Let's take a moment. Let's pause. Let's think about what we're doing. I want this crystal. I also want this crystal. Let's start with our... Let's get them over here. Let's get them going here. Let's grab a Hades gate. I'm here for this. Oh, I don't necessarily want to drop it there though because of the chimeras. No, this is fine. We can do the Hades gate here. I can summon a couple of ghosts to start farming that crystal. Gonna farm this dick! Never apologize, Zero. Not ever. I'm just trying to figure out, like, the best way to handle this. We had a pretty decent plan going last time. I'm gonna give that rune a second more. Okay, start doing that. Let's... get an imp, and then as soon as that happens, we'll level that up so we can start getting our good dragon boys. I also need a Gehenna gate, though. Square up with Evil Fruity. Oh god. I am scared. I'm also scared of going here. We're good. Everything is okay. That's not what I'm clicking on. Let's get a couple of dragons going. We're just gonna, like... we're gonna rush farming this. I'm not going to fill up this entire space with butt demons, but I will put 3 here, here, and here. Yeah? One more blob. Oh no! Here's hoping that your coffee doesn't get lost in the elevator again, though. Real talk. It would be extremely sad, especially after waiting that long. Okay, start farming that. They never told you, did they, like, you didn't have to pay for it again, did you? 'Cause that would be upsetting. He will forever be in there. Surprise, your elevator is now like the elevator in fucking hell, Resident Evil. You're just gonna be trapped for forever, running away from the molded for no reason and not knowing what's going on because you got mushy 13-hour stream brain. It's fine, don't worry about it. Alright, let's start taking care of some of these. God, I would die for an espresso machine. I don't even like... So, here's the thing. I don't like coffee. But I drink it, like, when I drink it, it's out of necessity. It's because I need it. And for a while, my Starbucks order was fucking whack. The baristas were very concerned about me because I would get a venti iced latte with a total of 8 shots of espresso in it and just a couple of pumps of caramel flavoring in it to fight off the bitterness. But yeah, I would be like, I need 4 or 5 extra shots of this thing, and they were like, yeah, a total of 8 shots in my espresso, or in my latte, because I just needed caffeine to function. Just give me the caffeine to function. Yeah, it was a time in my life. Okay, these boys are gonna die, and it's unfortunate, but they have served us well. Oops! 3 dragons. Yeah, it was a problem. And again, it wasn't necessarily because, like, I liked it, but I needed it. I needed it to you know, exist as a human being. And it wasn't great. I don't miss those times. Jeez. And that's the thing, like, coffee doesn't really coffee doesn't make me like hyped up or super hyper or like anything like that. I just mostly needed it to just get through the day. And that was a problem. Dessert in a cup, honestly, so a little espresso and a liquid pumpkin pie. That's fair. Yeah, no. My whole reasoning for drinking this stuff was not for pleasure. It was simply to get through the day. I was some eldritch being of coffee for a while. It was a problem. Caffeine is so... It doesn't help that, I mean, like... I would definitely say that smoking is normalized in our world as a whole. I don't want to just say, like, our culture, because, like, across everywhere, everyone's just like, you know, smoking's fine. Or not fine. Like, we're still telling people that, you know, smoking is bad for you. Don't do that. Whereas with caffeine, it's in so many different things, and it's just so normalized as a thing that we have and we drink that it's so hard to, like, break away from it. Because it's in everything! No! Stop hurting my boys! Stop hurting my boys! Oh my god, I hate homunculi. Watch out, Cyril! Worm police are coming for you. Oh my god. I am sick of their shit. Rip, Cyril. Dr. Pepper is so good. Hey, that's what I drink. Dr. Pee-Pee! Oh, dead. No, it's fantastic. I love it. You know what? Why would you drink? Hold on, sorry, I just saw this. Why would you drink straight Dr. Pepper syrup? Why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, why would you do just like the soda base? Octo, no! Octo, you've done it so bad! Hey, friend! You did it bad! Oh no. Okay, but also, do you feel like, I mean, I don't wanna encourage you to go away. Because we love you. But naps are important. Go take a nap. Hey, have you considered taking a nap? Oh, because you were told not to. I can't be mad at you for that, because literally, same. The second someone tells me not to do a thing is when I'm going to do it, because you have told me not to, therefore I am going to. Sorry, those are the rules. I don't make the rules, I just break them. Imp Buddy, do you want to do me a favor? Make, get us a whole line of buddies going here. Stop. Okay. Oh, you would, but your son's gonna wake up pretty soon again. Okay. Valid. We are all but slaves to the schedules of children. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us. Oh, the real sugar stuff. Oh! Get distracted by a chimera. Oh, there goes one of our dragons. Stop, 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 stop. Not the jelly bellies. Not the jelly bellies. I'm not a jelly bean person. not a fan. Oh! Cyril! Thank you for the gift sub for D Fooly. You big old nerd! He is Gerblin, Gremlin, Grimbo, Griffin, so I just call him Boy Really Defense. Sorry. Grimbo. Oh boy. That's very great. Might have to start calling my cats that. My cats are basically kids. That's adorable. Okay. My son GrimGrimbo. No. That is not correct. Dr. PP Jelly Beans. Are you sure you want to, like... Oh, I've got the max number of familiars. That's a problem. That's an issue. Do I have... Oh, that's why. That's why I have the max number of, things. I was gonna say, are you sure you wanna say that about the jelly beans, considering your bean boozles last night? It was a lot, Cyril. You did a lot. Oops, all bad bean run. Okay, if y'all just want to stop there, that'd be cool. Oh my god. Just get up there and go. Just fuck him up. Fuck it up, Kenneth. Fuck it up. Please. 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 They were all bad beans. There were no good beans in that bunch. That's a lie. I think there was a Tutti Frutti one at the end. Am I correct in remembering that? I'm just gonna set up three bad boys there. Just get ready for that, you know? Fucking hell. Oh, I only have the one dragon. Perfect. Beautiful. Love that for me. I think we're doing worse this time. I think we're doing worse this time. Oh boy. Spicy beans? Ooh, okay. You had me at spicy beans. I might actually have to try that. I need to make my way further up. This is ridiculous. These fucking totems. Okay, sorry, I'm like doing real bad about keeping up with chat right now. Yeah, the emotes are very good. Emmy made them. Emmy's done pretty much all of the art on this channel, and they've done a very good, very beautiful job of all of them. Our emotes are very good, though. They're some of my favorite. Facts! Emmy talented. Emmy V talented. Get the fuck over here, you pieces of shit. Not happy. Not a happy camper. God damn. We're not even halfway through yet. Fuck hell. I hate these blobs. I hate their goop. I hate everything about them. They are the worst. Need these boys keep doing this thing. I guess we're gonna summon a bunch of these guys. I hate their goop. I hate it. I'm not usually anti-goop, but today I have chosen violence against goop. Can't help it. 45 minutes, but hey, no complaints, only coffee. Any very good art friend. These are facts. Get the fuck out of here. I am sick of their shit. I am upset about the goop from yesterday, but hear me out. This goop, also bad. They're doing violence against my dragons, and I don't like it. I gotta protect my scaly boys, okay? Get rid of this shit. Get it out of here. It's good for people who want to destroy goop. True, it's true. Don't go over there. Don't go over there. We're not going there. We're hanging out here. This is where you live now, okay? Ooh, actually. No, this is where we live now. This is where you live now? Okay? Oh boy. I like them sitting here. Don't really have a great option in regards to... you know what? It's not really gonna help. But... what if I just... summon a bunch of runes? These don't take people, do they? But this will help on the off chance that we do get raided by these terrible chimeras. Now they have to spend more time taking out these bad these runes.
My lord.
Okay, can we get rid of that? Flubber? Slime girls. Color me interested. Oh, they don't. They can't attack. Perfect. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay, but Luigi's a delight. I am gonna summon one more dragon. And then I'm going to summon some more boys. Okay, well, hear me out. This goop is a cop. This is Fruity's ruse! Trying to get you to think that they're not a cop by being like, see, cops are bad. All goo cops are bad! Agcap! Agcap! Doesn't quite flow off the tongue in the same way. Dead. Agcab! But also, in all seriousness, fucking all cops are bastards. And if that's a problem, get the fuck out of here. Oh, hey, Chimera. Hey, Chimera, do you want to wait a couple of seconds? Egg cab. Don't tell slime girls to work. But I mean, I can't. Yeah, that's fine. That's acceptable. Get 'em, boys! Oh, you've done it so bad. Okay, well, I don't have enough mana.
I can't believe you've done this.
I can. We're not adding knife gods. Sorry, y'all. We do got a quote function, though. Let me remind everyone. Got a quote function. Can this chimera stop? Actually, can they all just stop? This is a problem. Best price. Got a hot coffee. Cyril, Your place is doing it bad. Hey, friend? They're doing it bad. It's a good quote. Fucking hell, we've done this so bad. I don't think we're gonna get through this level today, and that's unfortunate. No, leave my boys alone. Start getting them. Go get them. Go get them, demon. Oh no. Why are all these quotes so questionable? Can I offer you a Nan Nan these trying times? I don't like this. I'm not a fan of this. This is bad. I'm getting wrecked, and I'm not happy about it. I mean, it's true. Questionable quotes are very good. Okay, get up here. Get up here. Stop hurting my shit! Fucking hell! Go ruin these boys. They're very pretty and I love them, but they're so slow because they're already slow enough as is, and then these fucking goopers are coming in and ruining everything by being monsters. And I need them to stop. It's just, it's rough. It's rough being these kids. We'll get through it, maybe. Just notice the cat come up. So that's calling Fruity out. Don't worry about it. I'm not gonna get there in time. Fucking hell. Okay, you're summoning more. Oh boy. Forever. Hydrate for fully. I gotta go grab more water. Hang on a second. I've drunk all my water. Oh god, Arn, please. It's more blue raspberry or whatever the fuck flavored water. Because sometimes I have to like convince my brain that what I'm doing is good for me, but to do so, I have to bribe myself. So if I put a little bit of flavoring in my water, then I can be like, see, it's like you're just drinking bad things, but you're not. You're hydrating. Thank you for the hydrate, you fully. I appreciate it. Also, Travis, thank you for the contribution to the reading stream. We're gonna go a little over time because I want to see if I can get through this level. We're gonna do it. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be great.
One day, Fruity. One day, when you least expect it.
Ominous. Healthy lies are healthy. It's... Is it a lie or is it a mental health trick? Have I figured out how to trip myself up? That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point. I'm exhausted. Also still just kind of panicking about this evening and playing more Tiny Bunny. I'm definitely tripping out a little bit about that because, oh boy, that was terrifying. Fuck, they already took out my dragons. This is not great. Yeah, this isn't great. Please. Fuck. Again, maybe just getting ready to bunker is my best option.
It's about time.
I don't like the goopy boys, but I need these gone. I need all of these gone.
It's about time.
Get rid of this golem. You can't burn the axolotls. You fucking try, Fruity. It's not gonna work well for you, bud.
I swear by my
Go
soul.
here. Why do you do that? Why do you split up like that? You absolute goober.
My lord.
You can patrol from there to there, then we'll be good.
It's about time.
You two, if you can patrol from here to here.
My lord.
Not the boat! Not the boat! Okay, let's go ahead and get another dragon.
My lord. It's my honor.
I don't necessarily need to worry about all of this. I do need to worry about
I
these.
swear by my soul.
Get out of here!
I swear by my
Fucking hell.
soul. My honor.
Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I am scared.
My lord. My lord. It's my honor. I swear by my soul.
Oh. You fully don't share this information. You've done it bad. It's not for Fruity. Fruity just wants to destroy everything I love. Fruity gets none of this knowledge. Please.
My lord. I swear by my soul.
Okay, let's go there, and then...
I swear by my soul.
Yes? Yes? Emmy, what? Yes? Okay, here we go, here we go. It's happening. It's the final countdown. Ba-da-ba-ba. Everything is bad. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, look at that! They already went through all my fucking butt ladies. Oh no. Four minutes. I am upset. I am upset. They already took out my fucking dragon! Upset. Please, 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 please! No, it's bad. Everything is bad. It's all bad. Why are you hitting that? No. It's not not great. Nothing is great.
Jeez.
Oh, Lord D! No, we fucked it up. It's fucked. I'm fucked. God damn it. It's extremely hard to fight helicopter limbs. It's also unfortunate when they decide that they need to goop everything and make everything attack very, very slowly. Latte is sad, so now you're sad. Oh no. Okay, that's fine. We will save the— fuck.
A body has been discovered!
It's me. I am the body. I have been murdered. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I don't have any plans today except for the couple of streams that I'm doing. I'm also not streaming on Wednesday as a solidarity move for the whole Twitch Do Better thing. So do we just want to stream a little longer? I'm cool with streaming a bit longer. Are we cool with going? Do we want to keep going? Cyril says keep going. And obviously what Cyril wants, Cyril gets. Go for it. Okay. We will continue on. I am gonna get up and use the restroom real quick though. And then we will... we're gonna get through this fucking level. We're gonna do it. I will at least continue to stream until we get through this level, okay? Alright. Let's go. Hang on just a minute, alright? Alright.
Bees?
I just sat down! No! Goodness. Fruity, thank you for lurking. Take care of your dang self. But yeah, you definitely gotta try out all the sounds. Ha ha. Also, yeah, Hades music. It's good. We love it. We're here for it. I am gonna stop it now though, because it's time to get serious. We're gonna fucking do this. Are we ready? I'm ready. Ready.
It's
okay.
Shh, Mister.
Everyone, shh.
I have to be strong.
Maybe dragons aren't my best option. My weapon of choice in Hades, I bounce a lot between the bow, the trident, and the sword. It's been a minute since I played. I can't tell you what they all...
This is the one. You got this. Team Let's Go.
Team Let's Go! But specifically using the Arthur aspect for the sword. Pretty much any of the aspects with the spear, although its final one, I can't remember its name at this point. That one's great. And fuck. It's the one with the homing arrows for the Coronach. Arthur aspect is like the best for the sword, just because he can put down that big circle where everything gets extra damage. That one, it's more about timing than it is anything else, because like you essentially just one hit kill everything, and it's wonderful. I haven't played Hades in a minute. I should play some more of it. It's good. I binge played it very hard not when it came out, but like as soon as I purchased it. And beat the whole thing after 90 runs. Hades is very good. Good game, good game. Okay, I'm reconsidering our dragon stance. The stance that we have on the dragons, I love our dragons. Do not get me wrong. Dragons are great. But I think I need something else. She got practice on your save. Sounds like you gotta start all over. Sounds like you gotta start all over. It's not a bad thing. Can we... Oh no! Why did your coffee place do it so bad, Cyril? Have you considered yelling at them? Have you considered telling them that they've done it very, very bad? What do I have as far as necromancy stuff? Because they were doing pretty good. Ah! Just do that. Just call them and do that. Don't actually elaborate on what the issue is, just ah! Okay, what does the Purgatory Gate do? Heals nearby friendly ghosts. Okay. Maybe doing obelisks with a shit ton of knights. Charon's not really a help. Yeah, just yell and then hang up. A shit ton of phantoms and a shit ton of demons. Does that seem like a good plan? I mean, throw a couple of, I'll keep a couple of dragons in there just for good measure, especially like towards end game when everything comes down and fucks my shit up. But I think... yeah. I like the little dancey guys. Are they your friends? Is the Purgatory one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll... I love that. I would like to do that. Just really just scream into the void. God, what a great idea. I'm here for it 100%, honestly. Sometimes you need to, you know? Sometimes you just gotta do a yell. level up. I didn't actually want skull mages. Oh fuck, did I do this bad? Hold on a second. Me trying to figure out what I've done. No, this is the one that I needed for the obelisks. Okay, okay. Cool. I have not done it terribly. Fantastic, I love that for me. Okay, start doing that, buddies. Start leveling up. I might as well just level everything up. Get it all going. Right, though! Oh my god, I feel that... I used to drive so much before all this nonsense happened, which was great, because I could just listen to loud music and do a scream every so often. And now, not anymore. And it was so cathartic just being able to, like, scream. Just do a yell. Maybe I'll have to look into that screaming in Iceland thing. You know how it is. Okay, we've done a lot here. I don't have near enough for that just yet. That's okay. Can we get up here? Start doing a murder on that. Actually, start doing a murder on that, okay? Okay?
My lord.
Let's go. Because if I can just occupy this space with a bunch of demons and phantoms,
My lord.
then it's gonna be awesome. And we'll do it great. Right, pillows are nice, but not always the most, sound dampening. Bruce, hi! Stream's going great. It's nice hanging out with everyone. We're not doing too great in the game, but that's okay. It's fine. I have seen the trailers for Cult of the Lamb, and I'm very excited about that. We're very excited about that. I absolutely need to check it out as soon as I am able. Or as soon as it comes out, I guess, technically. Hey, I need both of you. Yeah, it's gonna be great. But yeah, how's it going, Bruce? How are you doing? Hi. Stop. I need them to stop. Don't. All done. There we go. All goop all the time. There is so much goop. I should also... There is some goop here. It's okay. Can we... Where do I want to put these? We always got that Chimera coming in from over here, so maybe... No, I should do them here. Ooh, I can get a dragon now. We should start getting those dragons going. Gigabash. I don't think I've seen that one just yet. Boop. Writing that down to check it out later. I need to be better about seeing what's coming out. I've done it bad recently. There's been lots going on. It's fine. But no, super stoked about... They're re-releasing Monster Rancher? Are they? Hype. Here for it. Pikabash is a breeding brawler that's huge power stone vibes. Characters are all kaiju and mecha though. I'm here for that. We're here for that. Defuli is interested. Okay, buddies. Fucking hell.
My lord.
Get that one.
My lord.
Get those. I need them to stop making these stupid, terrible, awful things. You know. Okay, that should be enough dragons for now. Stop! I hate this. I am upset. Can we summon some more of those? I need to start getting me some demons. Oh, buddy. Oh. Oh. Get that other dragon going. If this dragon could just chill here, that would be cool. And then I could start getting some demons. I just need them to pace back and forth and take care of some shit. You know? You know? No, you need to go take care of them. Stop! They're hurting us! I haven't played that game before, you know? Or with the random CDs and stuff? I am unfamiliar. Oh! Stop hurting my boys! Stop! I don't like it! Jeez. No, I don't want the imp. I need... Sorry, I'm a smidge distracted right now. Let's get some more demons. I want more. Fucking hell. Sorry, this level is rough. No, come down here. I can get these guys here. Okay, and then do that. and then do that thing where you... Oh, hi Chimera. Goodness gracious. I remember, like, like all my friends getting into barcode battlers. It wasn't anything that I ever did because I don't know. I think I was just broke. That wasn't for us. Get the fuck out of here. Honestly. Honestly.
My lord.
Can I summon more phantoms? I don't like the goopy boys. Where are you going? Where are you going? Why are you running? Why are you running? He's gonna get hurt and he's gonna die. Go up there. And then... Okay, if I can just, like, make sure that I can keep all of this running, that would be cool. Would love that for me. Piss off! Look, I get having a bunch of, like, ways to handle situations with, I think my big complaint about this game is the fact that, like, it feels like even though you're supposed to have this whole flowchart of, like, this is strong against this, and you can do this with these, it doesn't feel like that matters. Like, you just gotta get the powerful things. Just make them strong.
My lord, it's my honor.
Which I can work with, but just mildly frustrating at times.
It's about time.
Sometimes you just gotta be lazy. Ain't no thing. No, actually, mine for mana, please. Also, thanks for the bubble.
It's about time.
No matter what I plan, everything is bad. I need you to come back down here, bud. Okay? Because apparently they've gotten through our defenses again. Mobiles, I don't know. Mobile lags for me so bad. And I already type bad enough as it is when I'm when I'm on my keyboard. I don't necessarily need the added difficulty of using like my on-screen keyboard. I'm bad. We're just gonna keep sending them up here. I'm tired of this level. Me on the big screen. Look, Mom, doing it. On PC, but running on the TV. Oh goodness. I was gonna say I have my PC set up so that I've got like my two monitors. I have a regular computer monitor, and then I also have a television. Because for a while I didn't have any monitors that I could use, which was unfortunate. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, can I get all of these boys to go here? And then just have you kind of pace back and forth here. Have y'all kind of pace back and forth here. I would love to get a VR headset or VR system in general. My god, it would be so good. Let's put here. And did I put a henna rune out anywhere? Oh, I probably shouldn't anyway, because I'm running out of space for guys. A 3, like, as I'm... the more that I'm doing at my desktop, a 3-screen setup would be fantastic. I do want to switch back over to, like, a computer, replace my TV with just, like, a big computer monitor at some point. But that requires money that I don't have. You know? That costs 2 guys. Yikes, 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 yikes. Fucking hell! What is attacking everything all at once? This is bad. 5 screens sounds like too much. I don't think I would want 5 screens. Right, that's part of the issue, is like trying to like make sure you've got enough space at your actual desktop for things. It's a rough balance. Get the fuck out of here. Oh no. Do I just need to... There's no way we're gonna survive this. So I know I'm supposed to just survive for 30 minutes, right? The real question is, should I just do what we did with the last one and just set up like a whole line of guys and just slowly but surely work our way upwards? Because I need to thin out their numbers somehow. This is ridiculous. Yeah, let's try that. Let's just fuck around at this point. Do you fully how? How? I can't do that. Split my brain in 2 pieces. This is my last resort. I need to add that to my terrible cursed playlist. Oh no. Jesus. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's too much work for a single human being to be put through.
That
okay,
I'm not
restarting.
Oh,
We're gonna restart. I don't like that they keep being like, summon phantoms and do this. It's like, yeah, I was, buddy, friend, pal. Listen here. God, I can imagine. Just, I don't... That's too much work. That's so much work. And it's like, I don't necessarily mind too much work. Or, like, being very busy, but that just sounds like too much. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's... I can only have 50 boys at a single time, and I can't even have a full 50 because each mob costs a different level of different amount of stuff to have. I wish I could summon a honey badger. Jesus Christ, can you imagine? This would be over in an instant. Please and thank you. What? I like them better down here. Let's do that, and then I'm gonna summon another Chaos Nest so that we just get all dragons all the time. You know? Hi, Llama. What are you doing? Kitty Cat's staring at me. How much supplies? Static defense? 50 butt spots. So static defense, I think, costs two people per thing. The issue with that is that these golems have such long range that 50 regular fairies, no, they're weak to alchemy. They're weak to everything. I can do a couple of butt spots, since that's now what we're referring to them as. No, like I said, I think I'm just gonna end up, I'm going to make a couple of, I'm just gonna grab some dragons and we are just going to make our way upwards. This is my best option right now. Every Saturday. It's at 6 o'clock. Cyril. No, not 6. Yes, 6? No. Yes, 6, because it's around the time that I finish my stream. I don't like working with the universal time. It doesn't make any sense to me. Wait, is this leveling them both up? Hold on a second. Hold the fucking phone. Yeah, I was gonna say, if y'all, because there are more people here, let me do a shout out for Fruity. Fruity does a lot of retro games, and does creepypasta readings on Saturdays, and it's very great. Fruity is a delight. If y'all don't hang out, or if you don't follow Fruity yet, you should. Because their streams are just very fun.
Jeez.
This is why I leave it up to them to figure out what time my streams are for them. I don't. If they can't figure it out, well, sucks for them. Okay, hold on. We are going to. I'm gonna go ahead and summon a couple of dragons. I tried to do the whole, like, let me accommodate for everybody's, like, time zones and stuff by, like, telling them what the time zone is, and it didn't work. No, I think Buttspot got blocked based on, or just, like, because everyone's, like, taking out bots right now, and I think they got caught in the crossfire? I could be wrong about that, but that was my assumption, because Buttspot had been around since, like, 2014. Buttspot had been around for ages. I don't know if what I said is accurate about, like, why they got got, but that's my assumption. Regardless, yeah, absolutely, rip Buttspot. Okay, please. Oh, hell yeah, look at these dragons! Rip Buttspot. Here, I guess, yeah, let me just do, like, let's just do all the basic shout-outs. Give me a second. Again, I think most of you follow each other, but if not, you should. Cyril is wonderful and chaotic and great and lovely and does a lot of just, like, all sorts of variety games, and they're fantastic. Also just streamed for 15 hours last night, essentially for the bit, and it was very good. I'm new to following Defooly, but there's been a lot of Resident Evil going on over there, and they're also just a delight. And very sweet, and very lovely, and just good. I already got Fruity done, so Fruity has been shouted out, so y'all should follow them if you haven't. Who else is here? Who else? I don't don't think Emmy is still here, but I'm trying to get them to stream a bit more. I think Emmy's plan is to just do, like, every once in a while when she's got the time. And that's fair and fine, but y'all should go follow Emmy anyway, because she's great. And I think that's it. That's because Emmy's only done the one stream so far, but she said that they really enjoyed it, and then it's just been busy. It's just been a busy time since that stream, but I want them to do it some more because they seem to enjoy it, and it was a good time. We're just here to tell you how it is. Nah, you're all just so wonderful and delightful, and I've screamed about it before, and I will continue to scream about it again. I've met so many, like, really cool people just through streaming, and it's been really, like, wonderful being able to, like, meet a community, or make my own community, and just get to hang out with folks, you know? It's cool. Crummy internet is the worst. I don't know, I had really shitty internet for a while, like, when I first started streaming. But we managed. We got through it. Stop. Stop, Golem. I need you to stop. My poor dragons are so slow. I love them, but they're so slow. Wow, you live in a desert? Perfect. You don't need to stop ghosts. I know they destroyed your thing, but we can rebuild. Oh, dessert stream? Yes, please. Yeah, just like that one in Mario Galaxy. Wow! Cyril, you're just sacrificing all of these poor delivery drivers? My god. Here, let's just fucking go. Gotta. More delivery drivers for the elevator gods. This is fine. Okay, can I heard that egg. You thought you were delivering coffee? Haha! To the Shadow Realm with you! You guys are ridiculous. Oh, I love it. Yeah, don't drink the coffee that's gonna make your tummy go sad. Don't do that. That's a bad deal. Yikes! Oh boy. Ooh, go over here. Get that. Get that. Not the tummy. Not the poop drink.
Poop drink.
Not the poop drink. Don't do that. Hey look, I got a whole dragon stack getting ready to go. Got any dragon stacks on your phone? Not poop cola. Not poop cola. Phone got games? Okay, I do appreciate that they're all coming to me. It makes my life a little easier. Oh no, I see you sneaking past. And got classic poop, no poop, diet poop, and salty lemonade. lost a ton of dragons. Okay, hold on a second. I don't have enough mana! Oh boy! Oh boy. Oh boy. See, okay, we talked about this not too long ago. I haven't seen Invader Zim since I was a kid. It's been a minute. And I really need to, like, revisit. So I feel extremely out of the loop. Oh, goodness. Okay, can we... It's not going as bad as I was expecting. It's not going great, though, either. I need to get over there at some point. No! Who's this? Oopsies! The Netflix movie is hot garbage. Good to know. Not entirely shocked about this. This news does not surprise me. Okay, you know what? We're actually gonna send this dragon over here. Can this fucking homunculus stop running away from me? Boy howdy, what are you doing over there? Do you read the comics? Most of the same artists and writers and also the same voices if you watched it obsessively like I did. See, that was the other thing, like I was definitely more of a Courage the Cowardly Dog kid growing up. Like that was my jam. Hi farts. Hey! You wanna come here? Come here, big boy. Come on. Come say hello. It's the big boy. It's the big farts. Ah, real monsters! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell in your ear, Farley. You okay? Don't freak out, okay? Everyone loves you. They just wanted to see you. He is not happy about being picked up because he's too big. Oh, Farley, no! He's our big boy. He's 20 pounds of fluff. Because he's a Maine Coon. So he's just a big, big, chunky boy. We love him. He's good. He's a good kid. Okay, what's happening? Can we... See, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. There we go. Maine Coons are so fantastic. We love them. Cat Dog! Angry Beavers! Nickelodeon in general just had some, like, good shit. Hi. Not that Courage was Nickelodeon, it wasn't. It was Cartoon Network, but... Cat Dog. Fucking Cat Dog and Angry Beavers? Yes, please. Good stuff. Hi, Devo. What are you doing, buddy? Hey, Dragon, do you want to stop getting hit and maybe take care of that thing right there? That thing that's hurting you? Have you considered, hurting it back? Okay, go over there. I need you to go over there. Hey, Arnold! Oh! Classics. Classics! I need to go back and rewatch a bunch of these shows from when I was a kid. I imagine some of them didn't necessarily, like, age well, but you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Just watched the most recent hero movie after not watching the show for like 20 years. Yeah, alright, what? What made you want to do this? Not that it's a bad thing. Just curious. Excuse me. Oh my god, Ren and Stimpy and Cow and Chicken? Oh my god. Childhood. What is happening? Phineas and Ferb and Invader Zim crossover? That would be horrifying. Oh gosh. Alright, buds. Up you go! Cow and Chicken was buck wild. You are correct. Ferdy, you gotta fix this. Classics. I'll say classic American, like, childhood, as far as, you know, being a millennial is concerned. I think I only watched bits and pieces of Phineas and Ferb because that's, like, what my little brother watched. It's a goofy show. It was pretty good. There is still time. Why do they keep doing this? Stop hurting my ghosts. My god. Dragon. Yeah, I don't have a seriously strong opinion on Phineas and Ferb because I didn't watch it enough to be able to be like, this is what it is. Oh fucking hell. That is not a hot take. Why are they still making Family Guy? I thought it stopped being funny always. I hate Family Guy so much. So much. Kind of. It's an RTS, and you basically have to. I mean, it depends from level to level. Usually, it's you have to go through the level to destroy your enemy's runes. In this case, for this level, I just have to survive for a set amount of time, and it's not going great. We're not doing it too hot. It's being a little difficult. But it's fine. We'll make it work. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Hold on. You gotta summon guys. You gotta make sure you got enough mana to summon guys. Yeah, Family Guy wasn't great. I hate that show so much. So fucking much. Are the Simpsons back? I haven't watched The Simpsons in actual years, but I really enjoyed The Simpsons. Oh no. Yikes, hold on. Fortunately, The Simpsons are no longer funny. Not entirely shocked if they're rebooting it in a way. Unfortunate. See, that's where I am with The Simpsons. Like, I remember what I watched, like, years ago, and it was great and enjoyable. Family Guy was just crude and crass and, like, trying to be, you know, edgy. Without being, like, Rick and Morty edgy. I just didn't care for it. They were just crude for no reason. And not even that, just gross. It was just gross. Ah, Futurama! Yes, yes, please. Make it so. You leave her alone. Don't be a dick, Devo. See, I never found South Park to be particularly funny either. I got what they were trying to do, but it was still just like, it wasn't my jam. Where are you coming from? I thought I got rid of your runes. We're only halfway through. Good news, everybody. Oh my goodness. What a time. I don't necessarily feel like this is the best plan. I am concerned that there are going to be... yeah, they each have their own health bar. So, like, this boy's at full health, but, oh, my other ones are dead! Oh, that's a problem. Okay. Yeah, each enemy, or not enemy, each minion has their own health bar. They also have their own special moves. They each have different things that they can do. You've got some that are specifically there to gather mana for you, which you need to summon runes and minions. Others are meant for attack. You've got some for like defense and stuff like that. Sorry, trying to think while I am chatting. Dragon Pile is a good strat. I'm not able to Dragon Pile at the moment, because all my dragons keep getting got. Yeah, sorry, I realized like you kind of jumped into the middle of the series. That's fine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. GrimGrimoire is a great, great game. But yeah, this level's proving to be a little difficult to me. The survive for an X amount of time ones are hard. They're rough. Mostly because it feels like, I'm pretty sure it is, it seems like enemies or mobs are set to come in at specific times, or at specific intervals, which is hard to counter against when that happens, because, boy oh boy, hold on, trying to continue to make things go. Single-headed dragons. Not multi-ones. We don't got any hydras here. This is a hydra-free zone. Oh, sorry, yes. Multiple full dragons stacked on top of each other. My bad. It's a lack of understanding on my part. Love that indie band. Single-headed dragons. They were better before they got kind of a little mainstream. They were cool before everyone knew who they were. I don't hate this strategy though. I feel like we're doing a little better than we were. That, oh my god, that clip from yesterday was perfection. It was very good. There were a lot of good moments from yesterday. Holy shit. Alright, next 15-hour stream when? Perfect, beautiful. I am going to leave. I mean, I've gone... Sorry, thinking about where to put this.
She's a high-level magician. I couldn't even handle her.
Okay, so when you say I need to survive for at least 30 minutes, you mean I can also go and take out everybody's rooms. Or runes, not rooms. What the fuck? We did it. I beat the level, apparently. Extreme Zero beats Final Fantasy VII in one sitting. Oof. But yeah, hey guys, we beat the level. It's fine.
Grimlet is a...
Oh.
Okay, we're safe now.
In like half the time that they wanted me to survive. Really? This was it? It's only 20 to 30 hours long. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh hey, we got more Grimoire pages. Okay, I think we will probably call it here after, once we get to the next save spot, we'll probably call it here. That was a lot. This was a lot of fun though.
What fool dares summon me?
Grimlet,
Is the remake not
Gammel's body
complete?
And return to hell to await commands.
You tell him, Lilith.
Birds chirping? I don't hear a thing. Especially orders I am unwilling to obey.
What? I summoned you here. Your summoner is your master. Obey my commands.
I'm usually down for longer stream than usual, but... Oh, the remake was only the part in Midgar? Okay. Jesus.
The summoning ruin is an ancient contract, but I do not like it. I will not consent.
Well, shit.
To command me, give me your life. Then maybe
Lilith, you fucked up. Is Grimlet supposed to be intimidating? I mean, demons are pushovers anyway.
Her soul is already mine. I'm sorry, Lilith.
And then we got our boy over here, Advocat.
This is your end.
Did you know about this?
He do got them chompers.
Of course not. This devil is famous for being stubborn, but I didn't expect this.
Mephistopheles. So this is your doing?
It's our boy.
If you want to fight, I will defend myself.
Don't get excited. When devils fight each other, the priests win.
Yeah, you tell him.
If you devils are open for business, can't you
Amaretta.
appraise this product as well?
No, Amaretta, my baby.
Amaretta?
It's a magical Mr. Mephistopheles. No, not cats.
Now this is irresistible. An angel committing a sin. Priceless.
What are you thinking?
Fun
Amaretta?
fact, Cats used to be my favorite musical as a child.
You promised to give me what
And then I
want.
grew up and realized it
Is
was a
that
cocaine-fueled
still hold
orgy
true?
about cats dying and going to heaven.
Of course it's true. Just run away.
So my life did have
It's fine.
meaning. I'm glad. The one who loves me means
Don't-
everything.
Amaretta, no.
And that's why, to save you, I will sin.
Isn't
I can
it,
face any pain
by T.S.
without a
Eliot or whatever?
I asked him to do it. Don't be mad at Gaff for breaking the flask, will it?
Amaretta. Cat's got good music. I haven't seen the remake, and I don't wanna.
Amaretta.
Scary Red Tooth guy is the devil.
She committed
Grimlet.
suicide. Pleasant for me. Though it seems she's disappeared.
Yeah, a lot of like weird poems about
Gamel
just
is alive.
cats.
Barely.
But Amaretta's dead.
I barely escaped, but that close. Grimlet must be Ash.
Sunday horror stream of cats. No, no. Yeah, no, Bruce. I had the OG recording of the Broadway production on VHS as well as a child, and like that was my fucking jam. Literally, like, 4 or 5-year-old me just running around the house, like, screaming all the songs. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I don't want to watch it, though. I don't need to see anything with fucking Taylor Swift and James Corden in it. Thanks. Thanks, I'll pass. Thanks, I'll pass. I'm good. Thanks, I'll pass. It's more Tiny Kayshurrr going, you know, it's Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser and all that shit. It's good. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, we're gonna stop stream here. That almost makes it worse. Fruity, thanks though. Yeah, I can pass on Rebel Wilson. I don't know. I'm just none of it. I'm just not about any of it, really, honestly. It's not for me. Why is James Corden? It annoys me because there was a show, way back in the day called, what was it? Gavin and Stacey, that he was in. James Corden was in it as, like, the, you know, the lad character or whatever, and he was pretty decent in it, and I liked him in that, and then he became what he is now, and it's like, I'm good. Oh, I've heard good things about The Green Knight. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see Candyman, and they were supposed to do a release of it on HBO Max, and then they decided that they weren't, and so I can't go see it because I'm not gonna go to a fucking movie theater in Petri Dish College Town. I'm not gonna do that. He was great in Doctor Who. Oh, he was in Doctor Who, wasn't he? Forgot about that. But everyone's been in Doctor Who. I haven't seen the new Into the Woods because I am spoiled, and Bernadette Peters is the one and only true witch for me. And Chip Zine as the baker. Just like, I can't. That's the one version that I love. When your stuff breaks, remember to call it Handyman and not the Candyman, right? Scream out Handyman 5 times. Make sure to really enunciate, though. I mean, I'm sure Meryl Streep was fantastic in it. I just can't with, like, I don't know, anyone else in it. Although, to be fair, Chris Pine is one of the princes. A very good choice. I have heard his version of Agony, and just, God, it's so good. I won't do it because my microphone is not set up for it, but I do a very good belting of Agony. Anyway, let's go ahead and set up a raid for this afternoon. It doesn't look like I really have anyone on right now. I've got, it's just, it's the Hot Cross, Gary's doing some Dead by Daylight, and then just Ryan is also doing Dead by Daylight. One of these days I'll do it for y'all. We'll see about it, though. Does anybody have any recommendations for folks that we can go raid and hang out with? Miss Kiwi. Oh, excuse me. Miss Kiwi's doing some some more DVD wise. Everyone doing that good DVD. That's fine. This is acceptable. Let's go hang out with Mrs. Kiwi. I'm here for it. Oops. Hey, hold on. I don't like, my raid button is new, has changed, and I can't use chat while I'm setting up the raid, which is dumb. But if you're gonna raid with us, there are our raid messages. The first one is for anyone. If you're not a sub, you can use that one. It's got emotes that are available to all folks. Otherwise, that second one is our personal one that has our lovely personalized emotes on that. Hold on, I'm trying to set this up on my browser as well. It's great. It's fantastic. We love it. But yes, thank y'all for being here. I love you. This was a lot of fun and very enjoyable and a very good sort of chill, mellow stream this morning. Good way to start off the week. Take care. I love y'all. And we'll see you later.